Good afternoon and welcome to Keeping Up in the Quad Cities. I'm Johnny Marx, and this is bonus day for me. I get 2 for 1 with people that I have tremendous respect for, people I've known for 25 years now. And the neat thing about it is we'll let people know that we're speaking with Angie Peterson, who's the executive director of the Children's Therapy Center, and the long-armed, gifted thrower. God, I'm sorry that you played quarterback, though. That's your only drawback. Chuck Long, it's year number 25 of the Chuck Long charity auction, and people know that this is one of the main fundraisers, Angie and Chuck, for the Children's Therapy Center and the great work that you do. And what they might not also not know, folks, is it's April 25th through May 7th, and it's an online situation. And that's always been something neat that I thought you incorporated before things got tricky, Angie. And can we talk about that? What led to an online situation over X amount of weeks, and the opportunity to warm people's hearts online?
Well, thanks, John, as always, for having us, and we've missed you. The last couple of years have been tough, but you know what? Everybody's powering through it. But yeah, we're really excited, as you said, to have the 25th anniversary year. And as you know, John, when we started this back in '97, of course, Chuck and I were about 10 years old, but we never thought that this would be going on 25 years later. Most fundraising events, 5-10 year shelf life, and then you move on to something else. But we've just been so blessed and happy that it's been able to continue this long. And really what allowed, I think, this to continue and to even grow as the years have gone by is when we added the online virtual bidding element to it. As you know, it was always so much fun at all of the venues that we were at, having in-person events. But what we found that really limited the scope and our fundraising ability. So people like you and Matt Randazzo at WQAD, and then Tom Kakert at HawkeyeReport.com. You guys know the Hawkeye fans. You guys know people all across the state and beyond who love Chuck, and also are big advocates for kids and for our organization. So we've been able to reach people. We have bidders, I think, as in 37 U.S. states.
That's amazing.
And abroad.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And these people don't even live in our state, don't live in the Quad Cities, but they trust this gentleman right here.
Yep.
And they know that we're all about helping kids. And when we help kids achieve their highest level of independence, then they become functioning adults. And that's what our communities need. And the love of the Hawkeyes and Chuck has just brought so many people in. And in fact, it is our largest fundraiser now.
It's amazing.
He's being very humble, Johnny, because since she and her team have taken over the Children's Therapy Center, it's doubled. The proceeds have doubled. So they've taken it to a whole new level. I lend my name. I help when they want me to help, whatever that is, get certain autographs, but they do all the legwork. They do all the work, and it's really improved and increased in value in a great way.
Chuck, if you can, for just a second, that lunch, and I cannot believe the WK sprung for it, because we all know how high the late WK Junko, who we all loved and adored,
might have been, wouldn't be here without him, that's for sure. As
high-pocketed as it gets, but that he sprung for lunch with 26 plus years ago for you two, just to sit down. Chuck, what were your thoughts that day on the idea? And I know you didn't think it would get this far, but.
Well, it's all about connections, and WK and Angie came to me with a great idea at that time, and they wanted to put an auction together for kids with disabilities. Well, that was right down my alley because my brother was born with cerebral palsy, and so I knew Angie. If I still would have done it in meeting WK, but Angie, obviously, graduating with her from Iowa, going all the way back to college, and I said, hey, this is an easy decision for me to do this, and really decided on the spot. And as Angie alluded to, I thought, well, okay, we'll have this going for a few years, maybe a shelf life of 5 or 6 years, and see what happens. And now we're going into 25. So I never thought we'd get to 25, but again, that's a big credit to her and her team. But yeah, we met in Mondo's in Coralville, if you remember Mondo's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I've been thrown
it was
out
a
of there.
It was a great meeting, meet WK, of course, see Angie, and then it just took off from there. And they, again, I don't know, it just started it started like in the catacombs of the stadium over there, right?
Or no, we actually did the first year at the
Yep.
what used to
The
be
Tax
the
Layer
Marx.
Center.
Before then, we had that
Yeah.
really small room.
Yep.
And I think we grossed $15,000 the
$15,000.
first year, which was about a net of about probably 7,500 or 8,000, after you paid for the venue and
Sure.
the food and all of that. And we're hitting, John, we're close to the $2 million mark. I think this year's event, I'll have to double check my numbers, but I think we're really close to $2 million within 25 years. And we just can't thank people enough. This is, as you know, units of therapy,
That was my question.
that's what we pay for. That's what the proceeds pay for. Each child that comes to us usually gets between 3 and 6 units of therapy a week. And it gets expensive, and some kids have more complex cases, so they might be coming for 3 disciplines. They might get physical, occupational, and speech therapy. So that's 9 units of therapy a week. We've never turned a child away, as you know, in 73 years due to the family's inability to pay. So events like our Chuck Long Charity Auction ensure that we can continue our 73-year legacy of helping any child that needs assistance, regardless of their family's financial status.
And I love that part about it. That's what really, that's the best.
That's
part.
always struck me. And if we weren't on television right now, folks, I'd be crying, because that's the one thing that always got to me was no one gets turned away. And look, what I'd like to talk about is a little bit of growth, Angie. You're under the Easter Seals, whatever
Lily.
umbrella you made it. What was that?
We're under the Lily. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then but you, George, and a great group decide, hey, look, let's take a step further. Let's make sure we can cross the river into Iowa, which I thought was brilliant. You make it a children's therapy of the Quad Cities. You
Truly.
involve everyone.
Right.
Now you've got a phenomenal building. Talk a little bit about growth, would you please?
Yeah, well, as you know, John, we were really good at, George McDaniel, our former executive director, who was there for over 30 years, and WK Junker and the team that we had, everybody did a phenomenal job over the years of doing a lot with a little. Unfortunately, that meant that our facility the look of the facility didn't always reflect the quality of the care that we provided. And we had several supporters over the years that would just say, oh my gosh, you guys do such great work, but you need a facility. Number one, we outgrew it. We didn't have parking. We were landlocked. We were leasing an old 1950s doctor's office that had little tiny, 6 by 8 rooms and transom windows. It wasn't bright. It wasn't sunny. There was no room to grow. So we had our, Dan Donahue was our board chair. And he really said, he goes, I've been with this organization a long time, and I am determined that we are going to get in a wonderful new facility before I retire from the board and turn over the reins to someone else. And he worked with a lot of different people, and we had a wonderful supporter, the Collins family, Jeff and Mitzi Collins, that owned, and everybody knows it as the Fiddler Building. Right, they had purchased the Fiddler Building in Rock Island, and they were running the internet side of the Black and Gold shop business out of there. And they had this 23,000 square foot building, and we're only using a tiny portion. And Jeff and Dan were talking one day, I think at breakfast, and said, hey, we got to make this thing work. So we decided, hey, we've got a building. We're going to buy the building, and then we're going to raise the money. And I think we raised a lot of eyebrows throughout the Quad Cities community, because you usually have the capital campaign first to raise the money, then you buy the building. But this building was perfect. It was all, accessible. It was a beautiful building in great condition, no steps, no basements. We knew it was perfect for us. We could basically move in and start doing therapy 2 days later. So we just worked out a deal with the Collins family. They were very generous in the sale price, and we raised over $1 million. So we had extra money in the coffers, because we know, when you're a homeowner, there's updates and things that are going to
Every
have
day.
to be replaced. So we got it done, moved into the building Thanksgiving weekend in November of 2016 and started seeing kids that Monday morning.
Wow.
It's phenomenal. We have so much space. We don't foresee ourselves, outgrowing that. And we've had so much help from foundations and organizations. We've got new paint, a new roof. We're putting in a new HVAC system right now that we're actually talking to friends about. And it's a fabulous facility, and it has allowed us to grow like we never thought we could. So we're just so blessed and so grateful for all the support that have enabled us to do that.
Chuck Long, you're a Division I athlete. You're an NFL football player. You understand time management. You know what it means. You're a busy man with the Iowa Foundation and the Iowa games. You're the XFL. You're a coordinator in the XFL a year ago. Where do you find the time? And I know this is second nature to you, Chuck, but people might not understand that you're busy from 6:15 a.m. until 11 o'clock at night. Where do you find time?
It's been a blessing for me past several years, probably at the past 8 or 9 years since I've been back in the state of Iowa. Early on with the auction, I was in coaching. I was in college coaching and gone from Iowa. I was at Oklahoma, San Diego State, Kansas. So I wasn't able, because it fell during the recruiting season. So I was not able to come to the auction every year back in those days. I would come when I was able to do it. We had some great fill-ins at that point though too. But last 8 years, 8 or 9, I've been able to come every single year. And that's been a blessing. And so I'm back in the state of Iowa. I run a foundation, but it's enabled me to have some flexibility to be able to get involved with my auction, our auction, and help raise money for it, and obviously be present. And because came back to state, they put me on the board of directors. So, I wasn't on the board before, and I just didn't have it. I didn't have the time to do it.
We said, careful, move back to Iowa.
Yeah.
It's worse than the mafia, Chuck.
It is. But it's great to have Chuck on our board of directors the last 7 or 8 years, and he actually just took over as our the finance chair on our executive committee. And because it's fitting, the auction raises a lot of money. It's our largest fundraiser, and just having Chuck in a more active role within our organization, it's really great because we know this guy can open doors, right? Yep. And he brings some, again, even more credibility to our organization. And, like he said, with his brother Andy, having been born with cerebral palsy, he's lived this. He knows what our families go through. He understands how important therapy is to these kids, and who better to represent our organization and tell the story than someone who's lived that.
Angie, talk for a second. And I know the organization. I mean, I've been there. Dealt with it, seen it firsthand.
Longtime friend, yeah.
Thank you. It's a boots on the ground. It's a face-to-face. It's a hug, and we'll all push forward together organization. How did you deal with COVID, and how have you pivoted to continue to serve a community that, hey, it's hard, and like many of, how do you continue to do that?
Well, as you know, and it's funny you said, a hug and everybody moves on. I'm a hugger. That's my friends, and that's been the hardest thing, right? Because we've all got to keep our distance. And again, as always, but especially during COVID, the safety and health of our team and our children and families is number one. So, we had to do things a little bit differently. It's, scheduling more time between appointments to completely, sanitize all of the rooms, and it's all the PPE, and we had to make modifications inside the facility. We, plexiglass bubbles, and I mean, the things that you don't think of that you need to do, and all of the masks and the gloves and all of those things. And so it was expensive to do that. But you know what, again, it's about health and safety. And when you're a smaller organization and you don't have 50 or 60 people on your staff, if somebody's out, then it's next man in. And that's just how we are. We're a family. We care about each other, and our team members are dedicated and do whatever it takes. So it's been tough. And so we were able to see less kids scheduling wise because we had to allow this time, right? But at the same time, John, our wait list continued to grow. And as you probably know, our average wait list could be anywhere from 50 to 75 kids at any given time. Well, a year ago this time, we had over 200 kids on our wait list. And a lot of it was due with COVID furloughs, layoffs, people losing jobs, people losing health benefits, right? And so when you lose your health insurance and you've got a child with a catastrophic illness or injury that's requiring specialist visits and different therapies, and you don't have health insurance, it's tough. And the great thing again about our organization is we'll take anybody, we don't care. We say, yes, we'll get the child in and we'll worry about the money later, because we know we have so much support and people who want to make a difference. But it's been really tough. And the thing personally hard on me is these kids, we get to know these families and these kids, and they're part of our family. And these little ones that normally come in and run into my office and jump on my lap and give me a kiss and a hug, and we couldn't do that. That was tough, because again, we have to make sure that our kids are as safe as possible in our facility. So that was tough. But it's so great, because I just know that because of all the kindness and the generosity and the support, it's changing these kids' lives. So if you want to go back to 25 years, remember our first two child ambassadors, Austin and Sarah?
Sure.
Sarah
McKay.
Yes, Sarah McKay. And
we'll all be working for her someday.
Yes, absolutely, we will. But it's so fun, because her dad Andy still works at WQAD, and her mom nurse Kelly is a nurse, and she helps us out with our bike camp through Trinity. And so we've got to hear about Sarah for 25 years, right? And now I just talked to her on the phone a couple of weeks ago. She's 29 years old. She teaches, I think, 7th and 8th grade out on the East Coast.
Good Lord.
And it just warms my heart, because she was one of the first kids that I met. And I know that the services she received and the support from her family have enabled her to become the wonderful young woman that she is today. And I'm so proud that our organization played a part in that.
I was feeling pretty young and spry today until you said she's 29, Angie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I called her up when I talked to her. I said, now, how old are you? Like 25, 26? She goes, Angie, I just turned 29. I thought, oh, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about, Chuck and Angie, talk to me about the 25th. Are you going to open it and have an online, a Facebook or online situation where Chuck is telling the world that, hey, I'm sorry, but Hap's not going to make an appearance. Here's all the great things that we have. God rest Lou, who we all adored. And Tim DeWeist's not going to run by and challenge, let's say, Julian to a wrestling match.
Right,
but,
right. Yeah,
but
unfortunately, it's all virtual this year. We're hoping that by next year we can get to the situation where it is safe to bring a lot of people together. And the fact is, we'd love to get people into our beautiful facility. We want people to see what a great place it is. But again, have to be safe and until we know that it's okay to do that. So it'll be online, virtual again. But you want to talk about how you and Matt do your Facebook Live spurts?
Yeah,
that's two guys carrying each other.
Yeah, we'll do some Facebook Live on the night of May 7th,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So the last day of the event.
From the facility. So we'll have a few people in the facility. Matt Randazzo, of course, will host it, and he'll do the Facebook Live. He has a lot of followers. So we'll have 6 or 7 live items, 6 or 7 live items on that night. And Matt, we're going to try to auction them off.
Well, they'll talk about things and tell goofy stories.
Football stories.
It's just Chuck, Carey, and Randazzo. Come on. That I know how it is.
We have karaoke, but we don't know if we're going to turn it on because, and as I always tell them, keep your day job.
Yeah, well, okay, Olivia Newton-John. So let's take that one more. Give me some idea, Angie, of some things that I might, whoever might be interested in bidding, and there's so many neat things that go to a great cause.
Well, we've got over 200 items so far, and more are still coming in. We've got a lot of great donors who really want to make sure that it's a successful event. So we've got a lot of, sport things, because as you remember, John, we started as the Chuck Long Sports Auction.
I do.
And then we decided, hey, some other people want something to bid on as well. So we've got Bears, we've got Cubs, we've got Packers, we've got Vikings, we've got TJ Watt, who I guess, I don't follow all of that as much up. Like,
Best defensive end in football.
there you go. That's exactly what Tim told me. So we've got a signed and matted and framed jersey from him. We've got really cool Hawkeye stuff this year. Some Chuck memorabilia. Do you want to tell them about your Lions?
Oh, we have a Lions phone, a Detroit Lions phone, when headquarters or wherever they did the draft in New
When you got
York.
drafted?
Yeah, back then, the players weren't there. They were just all
No.
the personnel people with their phones. So they gave me, when they drafted me #1, they gave me that Lions phone. So I dug that out of my mom's attic and there it was. I said, oh, Angie will love this for the auction. So I signed it.
It's like a Lions helmet,
Beautiful.
and then you
Yep.
pick it up and it's mounted on this brown board, and it's pretty cool. So,
They lowballed his bonus and they lowballed his per diem, but he got a Lions
but
phone.
you got a helmet phone, yeah. We've got oh my gosh, some current Hawkeye. Tyler Linderbaum was kind enough to autograph a
Great dude.
full-size helmet for
Yep.
us. The Murray family, Kenyon, Keegan, and Chris just signed a basketball
Sunday.
for us
Yep.
this weekend. We've got, oh my gosh, things to enjoy at home. We've got
Cool.
a getaway trip out in Guffey, Colorado, a beautiful log home on 40 acres. We've got a beach house at Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. We've got a couple things that we're still in the process, so we can't tip our hat to that yet, just until we confirm them, but some really, really exciting things. We've got wine baskets, we've got picnic baskets, we've got every theme you can imagine. We've got bicycles, we've got toys, we have,
Cool.
really something for everybody. We're really excited.
Always has been, always will be. Did I forget anything?
I think we got it all.
No,
Okay, I just wanna
think
make sure.
Just to let people know,
Yep.
we'll be.
Please give us information that way.
Yeah, so we're, like I said, we're finishing up, getting all the details done. If the best way to know what's going on is to follow us on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. And we'll be posting every day when registration and item preview, that goes live on the 20th, April 20th. So for a few days, you can register, get all
Sure.
set up to bid, look at the items, and then bidding opens at midnight on April 25th.
Beautiful.
And right now, we do have an auction website, but again, that won't be ready to go. So the best way to do it is go to our regular website, which is www.ctcqc.org. And then as soon as the auction website is live, there'll be a home on our regular auction, or the regular website, there'll be a button that says Chuck Long Charity Auction.
Yep.
Click on that, takes you right to the auction site.
Angie, Chuck, I like to tell people that I have great respect for and get a chance to talk to, not to change. I know we have to roll with the punches the way the world is today, but please don't change what you do. Don't change what you've done. It works. And I'm so grateful. A, grateful for your time, but B, even more grateful for what you do for the community and our young people. I cannot thank you enough for your time today.
Well,
John.
John, it's always a pleasure, my friend, to see you and visit with you. And yeah, we haven't been able to get together in person like we have for so many years, but we really appreciate your support for so long, even over and above the auction. You've been a good friend of the Children's Therapy Center for so many years and forever, as long as I can remember. And I appreciate that. And the fact that you're willing to help us get the word out. And because like I said, the need is greater now than ever before. And we're just grateful to have good friends like you and our entire community and beyond that want to make sure that these kids get what they need.
Chuck, make sure you bring extra shoulder pads to Carrie Randazzo that night. So again, I'm grateful for your time. Thank you both so much.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Johnny.
John. Take care.